Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with Hannah Burr. How are you, Hannah?
I'm feeling so much better. And how are you?
Good. Yes. Doing good. Starting to get a little bit warmer here in Kentucky, but it's about to be cold again, I think, here soon. So
It is. It was so weird. It all of a sudden spiked. It wasn't a gradual increase. It just all of a
right.
sudden was 40, 40, 70.
Yeah. But it's weird. It's like 70s during the day and 20s at night. It's like
Yes.
really cold. Anyway, thanks for joining everyone here on episode 429 of Inside the Force. We are going to be talking about the Bad Batch mainly because they put out 2 episodes, rightfully so, because these things are right next to each other as far as timeline and whatnot. But we'll get into that. Got several bit of little stories, news stories to go over. But first, of course, thanks to our patrons. As always, we thank you and thank you and thank you. And I am actually working on getting our commentary for Attack of the Clones out here very shortly. So, yes, that is about ready to go. So I'll probably drop that maybe like Monday. I think I'll drop that maybe or something like that. But that's fun. Got that out there. And then we got, of course, get ready for episode 3. Yes, next. I think I did get a message from Thronak saying we'll read it later, but I think he was bummed that he missed. Of course, we are too, but I think this time, Hannah, I think we might try to do like a morning.
Let's do it. I will brew a cup of coffee and wake up as early as needed.
All right. Yeah. Because that should give some the listeners, our patrons, more of a chance to get on there.
Agreed.
Okay. I wanted to move into a couple just small little stories. One, I've kind of talked about it a little bit here, but just released is that Star Wars Unlimited card game. Right?
Yes.
So that is out now. I think you can go buy a box and a starter deck and things like that. Me and Corey have been playing it a little bit here and there, and it's really neat. It's those of you that have played the Star Wars the card game they called Living Card Game, which was out. I think it came out sometime in 2012, 2013. It lasted for a good 5 or 6 years. If you're used to that, it's similar, but it's got a lot of differences. Now, I think I've mentioned it before. If you're used to something like Magic or I think Pokemon, it's more along those kind of games. The way the resources work and the way the attacking works and the deck building. Mm-hmm. So that is pretty, so I'm getting used to that part of it, right? But there's a lot of cards, there's a lot of ways to build these decks and stuff like that. So I don't know, Hannah, are you interested in getting into that at all?
I am totally. So looking at my schedule here, are you all available between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m.? I can give up a couple hours of sleep. Are you available?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. It took me a while because I wanted to, and we're kicking around the idea of maybe doing some content with it, and kind of incorporating it into this Inside the Force. I'm still trying to work on how that's going to work and all, but
in all seriousness, I would love to be a part of that.
Well, yeah,
I would.
But plus, like you, it's hard to find some time for that. So, because before, I think when I did the other game, we played it a lot more, and I felt like the game was a little bit easier to understand and follow. And so, back then my kids were younger too. I didn't really have that much to do, so I had a lot more time. They were babies and stuff, so I'm like, They just put them in a playpen and let them go. But so I was playing that game more often. I got really good, and I actually won some like store tournaments and things like that, and went to the regionals and things like that. So anyway, it was pretty fun. Got into it, but they discontinued that game. So kind of moved away, and they came out with this game called Star Wars Destiny. I didn't like it. It was a card and dice game, and I hated the fact that dice, like the fate of my play was on dice. Like I didn't like that.
Oh, then you will not like D&D, man.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe not. But I got out of that. I got out of that pretty quickly. So I didn't really stick with Destiny, but then this came out, and I like this gameplay, but again, it's hard unless you're playing all the time. It's hard to get really good, but I don't mind. That's why if you got into it, I feel like it'd be easier just play amongst us and stuff like that. So,
right.
But Corey's going to be a little more serious about it, I think.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
No, it doesn't surprise me.
Because I saw him a couple weeks ago, and he's like, "Hey, so,
He told you about it? He told you about it?
Oh, he totally did. He's like, "So this is happening, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do know." And he said,
Yeah.
"Good, you in? Like, when you free?"
Yeah, he's trying to recruit, I guess. Yeah. So we'll see. It's interesting how the game works. I mean, but here's the thing. Probably we can get into this later, but you probably don't even have to buy any cards because we've got so many cards that you could probably build a deck out of that. Because again, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the point of it is before the other card game, what I liked about it is when you bought a pack of cards, you knew exactly what you were getting. This is like Magic, I guess, in Pokemon, where you're buying booster packs, so you don't know what you're getting, right? So you could spend all this money and not really get. So you might end up having to get on like eBay or something like that and buy some cards that you don't have or don't feel like. So anyway, that's out there. If anybody wants to check it out, it's pretty neat. Star Wars Unlimited. It's by Fantasy Flight. Deck building game. It's pretty neat. Let's see. The other kind of crazy news that I thought was pretty wild is apparently Rogue Squadron is back in development with Patty Jenkins again.
Oh.
Yeah, because Wonder Woman 3 is not happening.
Right.
Of course, with DC getting rebooted and James Gunn taking that over, there is no more Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman stuff. So Patty Jenkins has got some free time now, and she's back to writing and developing Rogue Squadron. So looks like that's actually going to be coming out.
Here's the thing. I'd rather her do... Once again, while I love Bad Batch right now, I feel like there's so much happening within this Skywalker saga timeline. I would prefer her to say, you know what, I'm going to do something in Old Republic. I'm going to do something in New Republic. Or the New Jedi Order.
Right.
Or just something new and different. I'm happy that she's back. That's great. Especially from a female perspective, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Wonder Woman, I've seen the power that she's brought to cinema. So I'm really glad that she's back in the game with Star Wars, objectively. Mm-hmm. I just wish it was a different era. That's just my opinion about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you feel about it?
Well, here's the thing. I believe when Rogue Squadron was announced, I believe it was supposed to come out this past December.
It was.
So
we talked about it extensively.
Yes. Like we would have gotten a movie by now. So I don't know. My interest in it has somewhat wavered.
But that's also why I'm saying, why not make it like, hey, she's back, but she's going to write it for a different era. Just kind of I don't know,
Yeah.
rejuvenize it or something.
Yeah. I can feel that. I think that would make it a lot more interesting, and because since then we've obviously had the announcements of these other movies
Mm-hmm.
that are going to be in these different eras, and yeah, I mean, yeah, do something else but Rogue Squadron was it's kind of an interesting story. I don't know, you know, just don't know what the storyline is and what how deep inside any of these is it going to connect to any of these movies or any of these shows, but
I almost hope it doesn't, just so we can
yeah,
get a different perspective.
yeah, I don't think it will either. I think it'll be pretty standalone.
All right, good. That's
But
good.
I don't. But who knows? Because Rogue Squadron is, it's during the original trilogy, obviously, and it's like either before or after, before Episode 4, or after Episode 6. I can imagine it being during the trilogy, but
To me, that's fine. I feel like I just feel like we need a palate cleanser. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
We need something different, something that's not, that could be tangent to the original Skywalker saga, but not directly connected, where all of a sudden we see all these different cameos.
yeah, yeah.
Like, for me, that's what I cannot wait for. I can't wait to see the whole Star Wars universe be expanded.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I mean there's still some lingering word that the Acolytes trailer is going to be dropping any moment now. I mean, it's like it's
I feel
coming. I actually saw a post that someone made, one of those fake trailers
no.
and posted something, and I was like, wait a minute. But I knew right away it wasn't Disney or it wasn't Lucasfilm that posted it, Star Wars, so it wasn't it.
Here's the thing, like, we're recording on the Eyes of Mars on
What
March
we are?
15th.
Oh, March 15th.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
like, when Julius Caesar was betrayed.
yes.
I feel like if you're going to drop a trailer for the Acolyte, today would have been, besides May the
Yeah,
4th, today would have been the perfect day, or May the 5th for Revenge of the 5th.
you're right. You're right.
Today would have been the perfect day.
Yes, it would have been. I think they're working on it, though. I think they're working on it right now. I think they're finalizing it. I think it's going to drop. I
Look,
can't imagine them waiting another month and a half to May the 4th to wait to drop that.
maybe they'll drop it on April Fools.
Oh gosh,
I mean, that would be very
yeah,
funny.
that would be funny. That would be funny.
But I would like, in all seriousness, I would rather them take their time to make sure it's the trailer they want it to be.
Yeah. Well, I think and I think they are. I think they're. I mean, I think the story is what it is, and honestly, it's probably going to just be a teaser. It won't be like
Right.
a full trailer, right? So it'll be the first time we see anything from it. So it'll be shorter, and then May the 4th might be a full trailer, kind of thing. So, yeah. So that's anyway. Rogue Squadron. Don't know obviously a release date or anything like that, but Patty Jenkins apparently is working on it. Well, this is. I wanted to mention this, and this is kind of unfortunate news
Oh no.
because I didn't really know about this. I could have been just blind about it or just uninformed, but apparently I didn't realize how much mental struggles that Jake Lloyd, who played
Yes.
Anakin in Episode 1, has had and has gone through. I heard he had some trouble, and a lot of it I felt like it was trouble with with the law or with behavior, but apparently he's got a lot of mental health issues, and he apparently I think he's in jail right now because of what happened or something, and his mom spoke out about it, and I don't want to get too deep into that, but I think the one thing I did like about what she had said was that Jake actually never felt, because he was so young and his parents shielded him when episode 1 came out, that he never heard any of the hate, or and granted, I don't feel like he got a lot of hate. I felt like the storyline obviously always got the hate and the dialogue and things like that. I mean, I don't know what more could you ask a 9-year-old kid to do when he's in Star Wars, but he loves Star Wars. The family loves Star Wars, and it would have been neat to see him around during this 25th anniversary. So it is unfortunate that he can't be around, but I didn't really know all the details of what was going on. So
Yeah, like that's really good parenting. I did see that article, and I feel like his parents did a really good job, because as a kid, even though he, as far as I can tell in general, especially compared to Hayden Christensen, he wasn't attacked as much.
right.
And but the storyline was, and I think his parents did a very good job of knowing he's a kid. He doesn't know how to tell the difference between the two yet. He's still developing. So that's great parenting. I actually met him during one of the Star Wars weekends, and he was so sweet. He was so kind, so generous, and honestly, he just oozed a love for Star Wars.
Yeah.
He like, and not in the sense of like that was his identity. That he was like, oh, Star Wars is who I am. He just was like, I love this world. I love the people in it. I love the creativity in it. I love what it stands for. And so it's really, and I love the fact that his mom just continually said it wasn't because of criticism that made him the way it was genetic. Like,
Right.
she made it very clear. And, this sounds so cliche, but thoughts and prayers with him. I really hope that he finds peace and comfort, because Lord knows mental health in general is just so hard to struggle with. It just is, no matter what you're going through.
Right.
It is.
It is.
But to me, even though it's heartbreaking to hear, and you care for him and you hope that he finds whatever peace he can within this, I feel like I honestly feel like he has the best mom for him, because she has his back, and I feel like she represented him the best that she could. So
Yeah.
I really hope there's no negative backlash from that article at all.
No, I don't think so. I think like kind of like me. I think a lot of fans are a little bit in the dark on exactly what Jake was going through until this came out. So I think there's, I think the fandom is when things like this come up, I think the fandom is more than supportive. And I mean, there's nothing else you can be. I mean, why would you, there's definitely nothing negative to say now. It's been 25 years, and
there's always something negative to say. It's the world. What are we talking about?
Yeah. But kind of like Hayden, I feel like if he was around, I feel like there would be a lot of love for Jake, him showing up. I think there still would be if he can eventually get to a celebration or something like that. I think he would see a lot of love.
You better believe Hayden Christian would immediately run up to him and just give him the biggest hug.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so would Ewan McGregor. Like, come on. Liam
Yeah.
Neeson might even make a guest appearance.
Probably not count on that one. But
I mean,
Natalie should. She hasn't been to one of those.
Yes.
She should.
Yes, absolutely.
She should.
And even Ahmed.
Yes. Oh man, yeah.
Like,
he's back. He's been back.
I know he's been back, but I just don't understand people who feel like they experience so much pain they have to just lash it out on others.
Yeah, well,
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either.
Be kind to people. You don't know what they're going through.
True.
I'll get off my TED Talk pedestal right now.
No, that's good. That's good. No, that's good. Jake, Jake needs support, needs help. So that's all we can do as fans is do what we can.
And it sounds like he has a solid central support system. So
Sounds like it. Yeah. So another thing, just a quick article I'd read. The voice actor for Asajj Ventress, who obviously we have not seen yet in the Bad Batch, but apparently will be making an appearance, and we don't know if it's present day or if it's in the past, because again,
money is still on. It's a flashback.
Yeah, exactly. But who knows? She could have survived somehow. Anyway, the voice actress that plays does the voice for her. Her name's Nika Futterman, and she had talked about that. Basically, hinted almost in a sense that this is not the last story we're going to get from.
Please tell me.
Asajj. Well, I don't know. That's all she's kind of hinting at, that there's possibly more stories that are coming that involve her. Now, we kept talking about, Tales of the Jedi, or maybe Tales of the Sith or something like that, So that probably is true. I mean, I think there will be some more Asajj coming out.
Either that, or I really hope. I so hope they do a Clone Wars anthology where it's all those other episodes they wanted to do and just.
I know.
But if she's hinting to Tales of the Jedi, I might die.
Yeah, and I
might die.
I think that is. I still think that is probably going to be how they do those anthology episodes that you're talking about. I think,
but who's her parallel? Because if we're going to focus on her, because Ahsoka and Dooku were parallels. So who's her parallel? And that's why I think it's going to be someone from the Acolyte.
Well, probably just Quinlan, maybe.
So we do one with, and
what?
So like a whole 6 episode of Quinlan and Asajj?
Not together necessarily. You have Quinlan like before he met her, and you have maybe Asajj in different. It's probably not the Dark Disciple episode. That's what I'm saying. It's probably not that. It's probably separate. It's probably other stories.
I gotcha.
Like Quinlan's background, we hit him younger.
Okay,
Just like we saw Dooku, or maybe it's Asajj when she was younger, or the side of her on the dark side with Dooku, stories that we didn't see. I don't know.
With that though, do you think? I know that as soon as she appeared in the Bad Batch, the sales of the Dark Disciple kind of spiked.
It did.
But so this is my question to you. Do you think, because I don't know, do you think that's catering to book readers too much, or do you think, because they're smart, they're not dumb, do you think the masterminds behind Star Wars realized there's going to be a spike, therefore a lot more viewers are going to be reading this book, therefore this is going to make more sense to them?
This what is going to make more sense to them?
If Tales of the Jedi is Quinn.
Oh, if it's Quinlan, yeah.
Quinlan and Asajj.
Yeah.
In their early years. My question is, are they betting too much on the fact that the majority of Star Wars fans have read this book by that point? Or are they just catering?
I think they definitely realize that not everybody has read the books, right? So
yeah,
this gives you an opportunity to, tell these stories, these younger versions of these characters in stories that, wouldn't matter if you read the book or not.
Okay,
But
I got you. Okay.
you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, as much as I would want to see those episodes, I'm just not sure they'll go there because they already exist. That would be a good. I don't know. That would be a good test run, I guess, in a sense for them, is how when you like adapting literature to film or to animation. How does that translate, to fans? Because right now, the only thing I feel like they have done is they've taken comics, like they took the Dr. Aphra comics and they made an audio drama out of it, right? So they had kind of adapted some things here and there, but I got to think about it. I don't think that they've adapted anything that was published into live action or animation yet, right?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. So, but they went the other way when they didn't finish these Clone War episodes and they put it in Dark Disciple. Mm-hmm. Now, I could be wrong. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of. I mean, I feel like every Clone Wars fan read Dark Disciple.
That's true.
And knew what it was about. So you are catering to the right crowd, the ones that are going to watch Tales of the Jedi for sure, or Tales of the Sith, whatever. But I don't know if they would spend the money to adapt that book back to. And I mean, no matter how much I would want to see that, I don't know that they would do that.
Right.
But I think seeing kind of like Dooku, like seeing these early decisions that Quinlan had made, and would give people like us that have read Dark Disciple a little more backstory into who he is and how he does things, and understanding more about that when we get to the book. So
absolutely.
But could be way off anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, that is all I had as far as, what's happening this week. There is some stuff that's good, even though do have things to talk about, which is the Bad Batch.
Yes.
Right before that, though, let's see what's coming out on your shelves this month still. The High Republic Defy the Storm just came out this past week, so there is another High Republic novel that's out there. The Living Force comes out April 9th. Temptation of the Force, June 11th. The Glass Abyss, August 6th. Tears of the Nameless, September 3rd. And then, of course, on comics, this past week was Darth Vader 44 and Mace Windu number 2. Next week, the High Republic number 5. Thrawn Alliances number 3. And Jango Fett number 1. And then to end March, you can get Obi-Wan Kenobi number 6.
I'm not going to lie. That's the worst part of the podcast for me, because it's just a reminder of how far behind we are.
I know.
Like, it's great to hear about all this new stuff coming out, but you're like, yay! And then you're like, oh.
Yeah, no. I am keeping up with the Mace comic. I got to catch up with the other ones. The Django number 1's coming out, so I'll probably try to read that too. So,
did you finish Rise of the Red Blade?
No, I haven't started. I'm still getting through. Book 2 of the Thrawn Alliance or Ascendancy. So, yeah, I'm making my way through there still.
Okay.
Then I'll do Rise of the Red Blade.
You're fine. You're totally fine. I'm still behind in other ways. Like, we'll never catch up.
Okay, let's talk about the Bad Batch here.
So
2 episodes out. Infiltration, episode 6, and then episode 7, Extraction. So this is the attempt that our group, the Bad Batch, now that so Crosshair has found his way back into the group, still, making his way and trying to earn their trust. In this episode, they are not tracking down, but they're reuniting with Rex. And we get to see where Rex has been this whole time and how he's been operating. Got a lot of familiar faces that have come back in these 2 episodes, but overall it's been quite the journey so far, and we're about halfway through this final season. So, all right, Hannah, episodes 6 and 7. What's your initial reactions?
Once again, solid. Really, really good. I'm not going to lie. When I saw Infiltration and remembered how the last episode ended, I was thinking, oh, are they really going to go try to free their brothers right now?
Right.
And then you realize, oh, it's not that type of infiltration. We're talking about the shadows. We're talking about this secretive operational group, which Crosshair was supposed to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it just blows the mind. Here's the thing, though. As soon as we got to that point, I immediately thought we were going to lose Crosshair. I thought this is going to be the episode or episodes where Crosshair is going to give up his life to save everybody else, and they're going to realize he was the good guy all along, and that's going to help fuel them into the future battle. I really don't have any bad things to say about this. All I have to say is the animators, it must be so hard to capture life in a lifeless eye, if that makes sense. Because it's art, it's not necessarily supposed to be alive. It's a drawing. It's a 3D rendered graphic.
Right.
Animation. And yet there's so much life in every single person's eye.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
It is. Yes.
I think we learned a lot. I was not expecting the twist at the end. I kind of sat there stunned for a while and didn't comprehend half of the conversation. I had to rewind it at the end of the second episode. I think it was very smart of them to pair these 2 episodes to get together, because I know you and I talked about a couple episodes ago how it was kind of weird how some episodes were grouped together and others were not, and we were wondering why that was. This was it wasn't perfect, but it was very, very good.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
No, I think, I think I mentioned this early, the last few episodes, but this definitely has continued the story of the clones, right?
Yes.
Not just the Bad Batch, but the clones. And the Clone Wars did nothing but make us fall in love with the clones and who they were and all these different personalities, because it was so easy to dismiss them because they were all the same. There was nothing interesting about them. They were just there to fight.
To prove your point, as soon as I saw the hooded figure, I was like, Rex? Is that Rex?
Totally.
Is that Rex? And then
Totally.
as soon as he lowered the hood and I heard the voice, I was like, it's Rex!
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we've gravitated to these clones, and it's great to see, because it feels like what they're doing is they are going to give them some kind of closure this series. They have to unfortunately it has to come to an end because they're aging so rapidly. They've got to figure something out, and the Bad Batch obviously can, you have good stories there, obviously with good characters, but the clones themselves, the ones that we've been following for years, like Rex and Wolf and Gregor and these guys that we're getting in these coming back in this episode. But it was really good. It was really good. I mean, the intensity of that's happening and the excitement that you're getting as these things are happening. The whole clone X trooper thing that's going on, this whole other division that they're introducing us to. It's very interesting take, because they needed kind of an assassin type person that wasn't a Asajj, or it wasn't a dark word, because those are gone now, right? Because Vader and I am a little surprised. I thought about this actually. I am a little surprised we haven't seen any Inquisitors yet. And
I'm not.
You're not?
Because there are no Jedi involved yet.
No, but I don't know. I don't, but I also think it could be too early, a little bit too early, because they're still training.
Well,
but I don't know.
I don't know about that. Just because of the novel Rise of the Red Blade,
mm-hmm.
Well,
they're definitely going out there, but they're definitely.
Maybe it's too early for them to go out, but it's not too early for them to recruit. They've already been recruiting.
Well, yes, but there's definitely some time that they took to kind of torture some of these former Jedi into making them convert, kind of thing. So, but I don't know. I just thought I kind of thought I had an idea that maybe we'd see the clones and the stormtroopers can't do what they need them to do, so send out some Inquisitors. But but they're definitely hunting Jedi for sure, because we have seen them in the comics, at this point around this timeline. So, but anyway, really crazy to me in a way in this episode to see the return of Wolf, because that is one person we haven't seen and we haven't heard of what happened. We all know, if you follow the animated series, that Wolf is in Rebels, so he has to survive. Mm-hmm. Wolf and Rex and Gregor get tracked down by Kanan and those guys in Rebels. So great to see Wolf again. It's a way that they're plugging the holes in of what happened to these characters, right?
That blew my mind. As soon as I saw him, I was like, wait, he's a bad guy, but he's a good guy. Why is he a bad guy?
Yes.
Blew my mind.
And it took a while, because, I mean, again, this is the first time we've seen him in the Bad Batch. It's been 3 seasons, and we've just now seen Wolf. So very, very good episodes. I think this definitely takes a step forward for Crosshair, especially.
Yes.
Like you said, I think I was a little worried too that something's going to happen. But this is definitely a good thing for him, and a good thing for them. Now this is now we don't take a step back though. This is a step back for our guys, because Rex's base is destroyed. He lost a lot of brothers, and it seems like, I mean, I don't know, but it seems like Rex is may start actually being in the series the rest of the way.
I think so. I think they're gonna have to team up together. I mean, Hunter and Wrecker would do anything for Omega, and so would Crosshair. Right. So if Omega is dedicated to helping her brothers on Tantiss, that's what they're going to do.
That's it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, there's a kind of side note. There's episode 8 and 9 week after week, and then we've got 2 episodes released in 10 and 11. So I feel like 10, 11 could be Tantiss.
It could be, but then that leaves me the question of, do they lose the battle, go back, regroup, and then reattack, or do they win, regroup, and the final battle is something else?
I think the final battle is going to be something else.
I think so too. But I guess maybe what's driving me insane is I don't know what it could be.
Well, I feel like you go to Tantiss maybe in 10, 11, and you free slaves and you do all that.
Right.
And then you got 4 episodes later, 4 episodes left. And I think that's kind of the wrap up. It's a series finale. So you can't just end at, I feel like you can't just end at the battle. There's got to be something else, which could be.
Wait, really? You couldn't end there? Because I feel like you could end with them releasing everyone and be like, oh, someone has to stay behind to blow up the base to make sure they don't get.
I think you have to see what happens to them afterwards as well.
But
right?
Tantiss has all the information about Omega. So it makes sense that they're willing to sacrifice themselves to blow up the data about Omega so that Palpatine doesn't get that. So that Palpatine once again has to wait a little bit in order to form the perfect clone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
So that's why to me it makes sense that Tantiss is it is the final battle.
Yeah. I don't know. I think if I definitely don't think I don't have a feeling that it'll be the last episode, if that's what you mean.
Oh, no. It's not going to be, but I'm saying like it made sense for me that the whole series or the series of episodes that took place on Tantiss were the last ones. That made sense to me. Because if they were like, we have to stay behind to make sure everyone escapes, so we destroy the whole laboratory to make sure that Omega is safe. No one knows what she truly is. So Palpatine doesn't know what she truly is. But I could be wrong.
Could be. Yeah, could be. I just think with the season finale, I would have said it was the last episode. I think a series finale, I think you have to spend an episode or 2 trying to, close out some storylines, kind of set up what happens to our characters, unless they all don't survive for some reason.
I mean,
which is possible. Which is definitely possible.
It's happened before.
It's definitely possible. Now, what about, I don't know if this is worth diving into or not, because it could be completely crazy.
Oh, no.
So this X clone character, like X, the letter X, they call them Clone X troopers.
Yes.
We saw, again, I think it was last season. We saw one last season. We're obviously starting to learn about them more, that they're basically clones that have been brainwashed and
shadows.
They have no numbers and no identities. But is it possible that the one Crosshair is fighting this past episode? Because it could be, again, it's one of the things. Is this Marok? We're trying to think like,
oh no,
could this be somebody significant?
I don't think it's somebody significant. I think it's somebody, because here's the thing, even with U.S. military, you're trained to see everybody as a brother. There's a reason why. I'm gonna mess this up, so I'm so sorry for our military listeners. Forgive me. But platoon leaders,
yeah.
Their sole duty is to make you bond as a group. Even if it's to antagonize every single one of you, it's to make you bond. So I compare that to the whole brainwashing that they went through. So I don't necessarily think there's something deep between them. I think it's the fact of you went through what I went through. We understand each other. We get
Right.
each other. Therefore, I call you a brother.
Yeah. Right.
You went through what I went through. You have my back. I have your back because that's how we survived. So I don't see more into that than that. When he says brother, I was like, oh, wow. This torture and brainwashing went really, really deep to the point where that's why you call him a brother, is that you're like, you went through what I went through. Therefore, I have a connection to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's beyond that. I personally don't. Maybe it is. Maybe there is a more connection, whether I don't know what level it's on. But personally, I just see it as more of a military type of feel, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
On an extreme level.
Right. Well, where I was going to go was, I mean, it's not possible that this guy, this one, right, the one that survived this
Right.
fall, because part of me is thinking, well, is this person a little more advanced, a little more skilled? Because, they survived a lot. That whole cave in and then fighting Crosshair, falling down this whole waterfall and then surviving. It's like, that's pretty good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like if you're trained to a certain degree, you can survive a waterfall.
Well, I mean, the waterfall I'm not worried about, but I mean, it's definitely hard. It's definitely difficult to survive it.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I was more thinking of to be able to fight and stand up to, even though Crosshair's kind of got some issues going on. But anyway, do you not feel like where I'm going with this at all?
I mean, I feel like I do know where you're going with this. There might be some anger and some jealousy and some resentment that fuels it. I totally get it. Adrenaline can make people do crazy. I mean, we hear stories about people lifting cars off of their children, and we attribute that to adrenaline. So, sure, I believe that. I also think that, and I only know this because my cousin in law is a Marine, and he told me that you can actually do more than you think you can do. Your brain limits you. So it could be they were brainwashed to a point where they don't think they have, or either they think they don't have limits or their limits have been that much more expanded.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. I don't think I'm looking into that as much as you. And maybe it's because, I married into a very heavily military family. I do have some military background in my family as well. And so because of hearing all of those stories and hearing all of those facts, I'm just like, oh, okay, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm thinking into it as much as you are. Okay. What is your theory?
Is this one that they're dealing with right now, is it possible that it's tech?
No, I don't think it's tech. No. No, because when you look at him in the prison, he doesn't look like, but he's not wearing his helmet.
The one in the prison is not tech.
No, it's the other.
This is the one we haven't seen the face of the one that fought Crosshair.
No,
because he shot the guy that they had a prisoner. So I'm trying to think of the guy that survives this, the guy that stands toe to toe to Crosshair. I'm like, this one seems a little more special and I think this is the one that's going to be around for a while now because he survived and we saw him at the end kind of pop out of the water. I think this one's different for some reason. That's all I'm thinking. Now, is it tech? Probably not. But again, it's probably Morocco is just Morocco, right? So
Why do you do that?
what? You said
No.
you said I'm reading into this too much. So you're probably right.
No, I think you're a genius.
No, I don't think that. I don't
No, you have an excellent point. We haven't seen their face. We don't know their identity. It could because we've even established if you don't see a dead body, they're not dead.
right? Yes.
And we haven't seen their face.
We haven't seen their face.
And they're tiny and they're oh my god.
Because
And they were so good with the technology too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like there were so many different aspects that this one went through.
I'm done.
I was like, this one's different. This one feels different. I don't know. That's just, it's kind of like one of those wishful thinking things and, and maybe a way that I would do the story, but
I'm not over exaggerating. I'm actually freaking out right now.
I don't know. I'm probably reading into it a little bit too much, but
I don't know. I think you're a genius right now.
Because the other one, I think the first one got killed by Rex, right? And then we saw his face. This one gets captured. We see his face. This one's some reason we just haven't seen his face yet. I don't know. I'm curious. I'd be curious what everybody else thinks, and we'll see in the next couple of weeks. But
thanks, man. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, I know. Let that noodle a little while. But that's kind of what I was. I don't know. It just felt different. It just felt different. But could be completely wrong, which I have been wrong before. So a lot.
I mean, Morocco is just Morocco, but tech could be tech. If this is tech, that is officially our shirt. Morocco is Morocco, but tech is tech.
It's tech. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, that would be pretty crazy.
Oh my gosh.
That would be pretty crazy.
I haven't seen that anywhere. I haven't. You might have, you might be the first.
Oh, well. I don't know. That's why I think it's a little out there, but okay. What else? What else about this? Anything else about these episodes?
The only thing I'll say is on TikTok, I'm constantly seeing, because I'm on Star Wars TikTok, I'm seeing people being like, my reaction during X many episodes of the Skywalker saga, and they're all being like, oh yeah, I'm proud of this, and then it cuts to the final episode of the Bad Batch, and they're just broken down in tears. Mm-hmm. And going back to what you said about how we feel all these connections with the clones thanks to the Clone Wars, I couldn't agree more with those trends. Like, yeah. I'm excited for the end of the series, but I am so dreading it as well because I'm not ready for the emotional roller coaster that I'm going to be on.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially if Rex is going to be a part of this ride. Because we know he survives. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm already starting to tear up, but we don't know who else will.
Yes.
Besides McGregor and Wolf, we don't know who else will. So right. It's hard.
Yes.
Excuse me.
So they did add on the Star Wars data bank, they did add the Clone X Trooper finally because of these episodes. So their description is a division of specialized clones trained in a deep undercover program run by Dr. Royce Hemlock. Mm-hmm. The Clone X Troopers, or CX Troopers, are a group of mysterious and formidable assassins and shadow warriors, activated one at a time to avoid detection. Their identity codes have been wiped and their identities erased. They're conditioned for one mission alone: to hunt down and eliminate any potential threat to the Empire. So, one at a time, which is crazy. That's pretty interesting. Yep. So we'll see.
We
We
will.
will see. Let's see some comments from our previous episodes here. We didn't do this last week, so I apologize. But on our episode 2 weeks ago, when it was about the premiere of the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch. See, of course, Thrawn's on here saying, I can't wait to watch the Attack of the Clones commentary. Unfortunately, I was unable to catch it live this time, but we'll have to make up for it for Revenge of the Sith. I've really enjoyed the first 4 episodes of the Bad Batch season 3 and think it's flowing better than season 2 did already.
Agreed.
I like how they are connecting the clone experiments to Necromancer Project that was mentioned in Mandalorian season 3 and like the Shadows of the Sith novel. It might help fill in gaps for the for the sequel trilogy. I love the relationship between Crosshair and Omega throughout these episodes, and has been great to see how far Omega has come from season 1 to now. She is now a very capable character who doesn't need saving, which is nice to see. I will always say the animation is fantastic in this show and beautiful to look at. I'm looking forward to the other 12 episodes and interesting to see what happens next, as only been 4 episodes and they have already all reunited. I agree with Hannah. I foresee a lot of heroic deaths at the end of the series.
I'm
Thanks
not
again.
emotionally.
May the force be with you. Do what?
I'm not emotionally prepared.
Yeah, you're definitely not. Let's see. Our buddy Cyber Ren, of course, says our shows are starting to become great bookends to each other and complementing each other. If you listen to both, you get 3 perspectives and answers to questions the other shows asks. It's fantastic. As example, we talk deep into what the cloning and all of that and all for that Tantiss, but never brought up the possibility that in this time period, it could be a work towards Snoke's origin. But you all did. And that's a great answer, as it would have give fans something they complained about in the sequels. Who the heck is Snoke and where did he come from? He also says, I mentioned on Mandalore something you guys didn't. The final battle could very well be the defense of Pabu. The team has decided to call it their new home, and I'm 99% sure that in the trailer we see 3 distinct shots of the Empire invading Pabu, and you know the team won't stand for that unless, of course, that will be another big emotional hit. Yeah, he's really on to the theory that something's going to happen at Pabu.
Like, I agree something will happen at Pabu, but I honestly think I don't think that's the final battle. I think that's going to be at the episode 1 and 2 you talked about in the upcoming weeks. I think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be, there's a threat on Pabu. We have to save Pabu. Pabu's destroyed. Well, there's no more peaceful place in this galaxy, so F it. We're going to go destroy Tantiss. Because even when Rex was talking to Hunter saying, we have to do this, they still don't know where Tantiss is. They don't. And Hunter still's like, no, I want to protect Omega. We're not going anywhere near this facility. I feel like you need that final straw, which is going to be Pabu.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after they sent their brothers, their younger brothers, Mox and his boys. They sent them there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I agree with him, but I think it's reverse. I think Pabu's going to be that double episode, and then that's going to prompt them to go get their brothers.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay. That could be it. Yeah. I like that theory. I like that. Let's see. A couple more comments from...
Sorry, I love you, Martin. Sorry.
A couple more comments from my interview with Mark Bernardin.
Yes.
Let's see. Thrawn says great. Yeah.
Great listen. If you haven't heard it, please.
Cool. Yeah. Thrawn says great interview. Was a big fan of Castle Rock and just finished the Vader black and white and red comic and thoroughly enjoyed it. Looking forward to what Mark does with Mace Windu and whatever else he tackles in the future. And then this is Darth Esnem one of our other patrons. It says, where's the master of the show cast? We want to ask you and Hannah questions about your life experiences that led you to Star Wars, your jobs, and ultimately the podcast Buccaneer. Oh. So like asking our own questions? Okay, interesting.
So we're doing our own?
Yeah. Well. Yeah, we can we can do that. We'll do that one day.
Yeah.
Good question. Good question. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Didn't ever think about that.
No, never.
Probably should.
Mind.
And then, of course, our last episode, which I failed to release on time. I actually thought I did, and I didn't, so it didn't come out till earlier this week.
It's not like you have a million things going on in your life.
Well, it's funny because I really, truly thought I released it. So it's one of the things where I do this, every week, and it's just felt like I did it. It's so weird. It's like an out of body thing. Like I could have swore I posted it, but I didn't. So anyway, Thrawn on the last episode says, looking forward to when you put up the Attack of the Clones commentary. And I mentioned I'm working on that. Should be up any day now. So gutted I missed it. Unfortunately, I was rather late that evening. I'll definitely make the Revenge of the Sith commentary whatever time you decide to do it. But I appreciate you both thinking about moving it to a different time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will.
We will.
I used to buy so many Blu-rays, but must admit that I've slowed down a bit. Now I only buy movies and TV shows that I really like. Some 80s, 90s classics, but big movie franchise series like Harry Potter, Alien, Star Wars, and Marvel films, etc. I want to buy these Star Wars Steelbook Blu-rays, but they are quite pricey, so I might have to wait and see if the price drops. 50 euros is quite a lot to spend on one season for something. True.
50 euros?
Well, they're probably going to be $40 here or so, I'm assuming. Yeah.
What's the conversion rate? Because that sounds like a lot.
See, they also are releasing some of the Marvel Disney Plus series, and I want those as well. I used to like the extras on Blu-rays, but Disney Plus released the making of episodes after every series, so it feels like we have seen them already.
50 euros is $55 essentially.
Oh.
It's like 54 and odd cents, so I'm going to round
they might price them like that here,
I'm scared to look.
Yeah, I know. And let's see, we got Darth S and Emma from last week as well. Seeing Crosshair remember Mayday and his squad was a great callback. The level of sadness a shaky hand invokes. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see Crosshair continue to grow, and I love the little pats he gave Batcher. Crosshair finally telling Hunter why he did what he did was long overdue. Was he just ambitious? The point of that character archetype is the number 2 who thinks he should be number 1. And that is basically what he was for the bulk of the missions, second in command. With the Empire, he probably thought he could become a martial commander, just like Cody. He would be more than a soldier and more than just a sniper. He would be somebody. But then when he saw what happened to clone commanders, both before and during his missions with Lieutenant Nolan, it was all for nothing. And now he isn't second in command. He isn't even a sniper anymore. No wonder he's in a bad mood. Favorite part? Omega sassing Crosshair with the "I'm older than you, little brother." And then the fact that Crosshair actually smiled was so wizard. A couple of questions for y'all. Number 1, why wouldn't the Empire have a tracker on Nala Se's datapad? Did she deactivate it before giving it to Omega? And number 2, why will Echo or Rex find Cody's clone number in the manifest of clones they got off the datapad? And then number 3, did Crosshair have a box of toothpicks in his armor?
Excellent question. Yes, I think he had a box of toothpicks. I bit my tongue earlier today, so it's really hard to talk. I think he did various amounts of toothpick boxes.
Yes.
That's an excellent question with the tracker in the data pad. I don't think While Hemlock is really smart, I don't think he's that smart. I don't think anyone is that smart. I don't think, and I like to think, well, let me ask you this, Dave. If you were Hemlock, would you think of putting a tracker in a data pad?
Well, I guess the only thing I can say to this is that, our data pads are basically iPads, right? And if you have an iPad, you have software on there that is trackable.
That's true.
So I don't, if this is similar to that, which it looks like it is, then there would be some kind of tracker. But to track something on a planet is one thing. To be able to track it across the galaxy, I don't think that's as easy.
I was about to say, I feel like if you're going to compare it with what we have today, it's not comparable.
Right. No, it's not. Yeah. And I'm sure there's a range on the tracking,
Yeah.
just like when you track a ship that's flying in orbit, you can track it, but once it hits hyperspace and it gets out, it's gone.
And I highly doubt Hemlock is funneling all his funds into a tracker device in a data pad that can be tracked across all systems.
Well, like I said, I think there's probably a tracker, so like you can find it if you lost it across the, if you're in one part of the office.
But if all of a sudden you're on Coruscant.
Correct. Yeah. You're probably not being able to track it. Yeah. But that's probably that. And then will Echo or Rex find Cody's clone number in the manifest of clones? I don't know. I don't know where Cody is, because
I kind of like
Cody left. I think. Look, Cody left.
He did. He did. And I kind of like the fact that we don't know what happened to Cody.
Right. I think we'll find out. I think Cody's coming back in this season at some point.
If we do, great. But I also kind of like I would not be mad if we never heard from Cody again. I wouldn't be mad.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then what he said earlier, though, shoot, it was about I lost my train of thought.
About the character archetypes, or
I think so.
It was about he was talking about how Crosshair, didn't like the fact that he was number 2. And
yes, that's it. I can totally see that now that you bring it up, in the fact that I feel like because the Bad Batch was a highlight above all the other clones because they were so unique. So I feel like because Crosshair felt like I'm unique, therefore I'm going to be higher respected, higher rank.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't. And then he was trying to find his way within that. I don't blame him in the sense of he's a soldier. Because soldiers are supposed to follow commands.
Right.
And I think that's why when Rex was talking to Wolf in Bad Batch, it was so genuine. Mm-hmm. He wasn't trying to persuade him persuade him in a malicious way is what I'm trying to say. In the sense of, oh, we'll get you in the end. It was like, no, we understand. This isn't your choice.
Right.
It's literally a chip telling you what to do. We get it. You can still make it. That just breaks my heart. And I think that's something that Bad Batch and the Clone Wars final season constantly reminds us of, is that these clones, when they're actually clones, and I'm starting to tear up right now. When they're not doing this by their own choice. They're literally being persuaded to do so. And that's why I still believe whenever Yoda said he heard all of the cries in the Force, it wasn't just the cries of the Jedi dying, it was the cries of the clones who were killing them because they didn't want to.
Right. Yeah.
And I also think that speaks as to why Palpatine is testing all of these clones. Because I feel like all of them have some level of midichlorians in them, or M count in them. And that's why they were
Yeah.
so vocal to Yoda.
That's cool. Yep. That's really cool.
So yeah.
I like that a lot. Interesting.
Yeah, so like it's just something to think about. It's not that, and I feel like in Revenge of the Sith it's kind of glossed over because they're like, oh, we're soldiers following orders. But then in the Clone Wars you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really don't want to do this. And I think the only reason why Rex was able to fight as hard as he did and not to discredit any of the other clones was because he had such a deep connection to Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan. He was able to
Yeah.
fight as long as he did. And I'm sure other clones, like Wolf, I wouldn't doubt that he was able to fight very, very long, but he just couldn't. I mean, because we don't like all we know based on their reactions is that they just went through immense torture. They just went through immense torture, and we don't know what that was like
Right.
until
Right.
they finally followed the commands and then they felt that relief. And of course, you're going to do like, I'm not going to say I would do anything different because I've never been in that situation, but I have to imagine if that's what gives you relief, you're going to do it. So that's why I really love the fact that Rex approaches every single clone that's fighting for the Empire with so much grace
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
much understanding, where he's like, look, you can do the right thing. I get it. And he's willing to accept them with open arms because he knows it's, at the end of the day, really not their fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think just side note to that, I think Wolf is kind of being set up to be the one that's going to get the inside information about Tantiss to them.
I hope so. I really hope so. Well, we know he survives and we know he
Correct,
becomes
that's
a
what I
good
mean.
guy. So
Yeah. He's going to be a part of it. He'll be a part of it.
look what your question did to us.
But
Did
that
to
was very
me.
good. Very good answer. No, that's good. That's cool. I didn't even think about it like that, but there's a lot there. That's cool. Okay. That is wrapping up another great episode. Yes. I haven't had tears on this episode, this show in a while. That's great.
You're
how much-
welcome. I
that's how
cry at
much-
the drop of a pin. I still
Well, that's how
cry
much-
I still
yeah.
cry at Musafa dying. I mean, come on.
Everybody does. That is, but you know, that's good. That's the showing the emotion we have for Star Wars, and especially the clones right now. And yeah, just because it's anime, it doesn't mean anything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, good job, Hannah. Good job.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks everybody for joining. Of course, check out the Mandalore podcast where we're deep diving even longer in these episodes. There hasn't been a lot of deep dives, to be honest, because there's not a lot of Easter eggs and twists and turns in these. These have been pretty straightforward, action episodes, and so. But we're still, Martin and I are over there doing that. Of course, come to Inside the Force on YouTube to get more shows from us beyond the saga, Council Sessions, Master of the Order, where I just interviewed Mark Bernardin, who is writing the Mace Windu comic. Go check that out.
Please.
Yeah, and then Corey and I are doing some Dark Knowledge, which we're going to be ramping up a little bit more of that, of course, when the Acolyte comes out, because there's going to be a lot of dark side stuff to talk about.
Yay! I'm so excited.
But thanks, everybody, for joining. Of course, patreon.com/Inside the Force. If you're going to go check out our tiers, go check out our extra content that are there, like reaction to these episodes and some comic reviews. I'm going to be doing the Mace Windu #2 review for that for patrons there. So go check that out. And, of course, thanks to our current patrons, like Thrawn Addict and Darth S&M, who we were reading their comments out here. And You guys, I know, we're looking forward to joining us on episode 3 commentary, which will be out later next month. All right. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Thank you, Hannah. As always, I know you're working hard lately, and still being able to do this is really appreciative. Thank you.
Even through strep throat.
That's right.
Thank you, Dave. I know you have been through a lot, and thank you for everything.
Yeah, no worries. All right. We'll see you all next week for another episode of Bad Batch, and hopefully maybe an Acolyte trailer will drop by then, but who knows? Wishful thinking again, probably. All right. Good night, everybody. Have a great rest of the weekend. Take care. We'll see you next week. May the Force be with you.